What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Collider Interview Studio at South by Southwest 2024. I'm so excited to be with the team behind So Torn. Oh my God, your movie is easily one of my favorites of this year's festival. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We're excited.
So now that it's abundantly clear that I know what your movie is, Freddie, I have to give you the toughest question of the bunch. Can you give a brief synopsis of the film for folks out there who are first going to learn about it through South by Southwest?
Absolutely. So the film is about a seamstress who comes upon this drug deal gone bad, and she's faced with these three critical choices. You know, she sees these downed motorcyclists, she sees this briefcase and this blood, but the briefcase is what's on her mind. So she's trying to decide between committing the perfect crime, driving away, or calling the police. And we get to see the repercussions of each of those choices, and she uses her thread as almost her superpower to escape the repercussions of them. So it's a crazy thriller, dark comedy.
Solid synopsis there. I just want everyone to know how incredibly well executed that synopsis is in the film.
Thank you very much.
A quote that I pulled from our press notes that you had given, just to get us started back at the beginning, you mentioned there was a false start with a more typical narrative that felt rather contrived, and then the new So Torn script came about. What was that original idea, and then what made you realize you had to pivot a bit?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So my dad and I, we co-write. I direct and he produces. His name is also Fred, so it's very, there's too many Fred. And I'm actually the fifth Fred, but it's too, I won't get into that. But
sounds like a movie title, The Fifth
exactly.
Fred.
I like that, yeah. But yeah, so we initially, because the feature is based on a short film, and we were trying to figure out how to expand that short, and we did 22 drafts, I think, of a linear version. And on the 22nd draft, we were getting the same notes that we got on the first draft. And we were like, oh my God, we gotta change something here. And to be entirely honest, and I think this is part of the reason why we pivoted, I can't tell you exactly what the direction was because I don't really remember that exact path, but it was very much a direct continuation of the short in that we see Barbara fleeing this deal gone bad in a expanded way. But once we pivoted and we really thought about what the short was about, which was this moment of choice and being torn, as not to say the title, but we were like, we should explore these choices and see what happens when we see Barbara go down these different paths, and that really excited us.
Brilliant choice there. I'm going to put you all on the spot creatively with this in mind. If you could remake the movie of your choice with this storytelling format, what would you choose and why? Where the main character could take various paths after the inciting incident.
You want to go?
Can I not go first?
No, I can't possibly. I'm old. I have no idea. I'll never figure it out.
I'll blab to give you a little thinking time.
Double indemnity.
Ooh.
Good job,
There we
Caroline.
go.
Oh, why?
Oh yeah, I'll take that too.
Well, just because it's such a kind of classic thriller, but also I just think it'd be really cool because they don't have to have the indemnity.
I think I would pick In Her Shoes is one of my favorite films, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but there's something that happens
You could
near
spoil
the
that one
beginning.
at this point.
Okay, well, one of the sisters, Cameron Diaz, sleeps with her sister's boyfriend, and that kind of spurs them to go in different directions and separate and come back together, and it's a great movie, and I would recommend it to everyone. It's so good. I would love to see that one because I would just love to see any variation of that film. It's perfect.
Okay, we have to skip me, really. Unless I say Barbie, it would be interesting for me to see if Barbie took three different paths. That would be really interesting.
That. I'm still keeping my fingers crossed they turn it into a full-blown franchise.
Oh God, I hope so. I loved it so much. It was a wonderful film, so fun. Yeah, you've already.
Oppenheimer, maybe he didn't make the bomb.
Oh, like history movies. I always love when they do like the alt version, and you just think of how things might have changed. Any answers back there?
Titanic. And the captain is just like, oh, there's an iceberg, 1 sec. And he says that.
There was a Final Destination DVD for the third movie where they did a choose your own adventure thing, and you had the option to pick different paths. I think about that all the time.
As well. The third one's so good. I love it.
Not to derail from your movie, but if you love Final Destination, I need to know, can you rank all 5 movies for me?
The third one is, all I know is the third one is the best one. That's the one with Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
It is.
She's incredible in that film. And I think, honestly, the acting is so good in it that it's definitely the best one, but it's the one that I find the hardest to get through because they're so good. It's really upsetting. I don't want to see them die. So I can't rank it fully, but that's the best one.
Okay, I respect that. The only right way to rank that franchise is that 1, 2, 3, and 5 are up top in any order, and then 4's got some good moments.
1 is kind of different from the rest of them. They really settle into a pattern after 1.
I'm veering off on a really different path right now. The difference between 4 and the rest of the franchise is 4 was specifically designed for 3D and not for telling a good story.
That's the one with the race car, is it?
Race car,
The one with the pool, yeah.
Yep. Where they
That
have
makes
weird
sense.
transitions that fly in your face.
Oh my God, is that the one that ends in the montage of deaths?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, guys. You should watch it. It's so good.
I could do a whole interview
Yeah,
just
I know.
about Final Destination with you. But we have to keep talking about
Sorry.
your movie because your movie is incredible. And I also want to highlight Freddy's work in particular. We were talking about it before. I said it to your face. This is your first feature, and this is just like, I don't know, exceptionally confident and ambitious filmmaking that you pull off so well. I want to ask you all about working with him. I think 3 of you, right, have worked with him before. Who's raised? Okay, for my 3 returnees, how did you meet, and what was the first thing you saw in Freddy that signaled to you, this is someone that I need to invest my craft in?
Well, I had the great luck to start very early to work with Freddy. That was, I think, already 7 years ago, was it? And I had the first contact, actually, when I was here in the States with my family doing a holiday, and they rang up and said, would you like to be in one of the movies? And that contact, I think, was established in Europe, in Zurich, through the Schauspielhaus, a large theater there. And they were looking for some English-speaking guy. And we didn't make in the first movie, The Father of Art, but the first work we did together was The Coachman, which was absolutely incredible, enormous night. Actually, 24 hours we were shooting on a really steep, muddy, wet lawn in a caravan, all inside there, and with an absolutely crazy story. And I discovered quite soon that there's something really remarkable to all of the scripts of Fred and Freddy. It is really, they're written on the spot, and there's not a word to change. I tried it once, and we tried it with Sotan too. Just one little sentence. It was like, oh, we like the sentence. Like, yeah, let me think of it. Of course, it's gone. We don't need it.
Who wants to jump in next?
We're both the same. Caleb and I both did Freddy's thesis movie for AFI, and we had a wonderful time doing it, and Freddy won a Student Academy Award for it. And so he's already started out way ahead of the batch, and now I'm going to let Caleb talk.
Sure. Yeah, I first heard about Freddy through my agent, Tara Jones, UTA. She sent me an email and said, you need to watch this short. We just signed this incredible young filmmaker, and it's gonna blow you away. And this is really a testament to like what great agents can do, because they pair up
The
talent.
second you brought up an agent recommending a short filmmaker, I'm like, yes, I love whoever this is already.
Yeah, she's amazing. Tara Jones, she's one of the best agents out there. And so she sent me his material, and immediately I called her, however long the short is, I called her 30 seconds after that. And I said, how can I work with him? I got to meet him. And so we met, and he mentioned that he was doing this short film, and we got to work, and immediately we clicked. And while we were shooting that short film, I think I expressed many times saying, I need to work with you again. But did we actually meet before at some point, or did I meet your family at some point?
Yeah, we met Kale. I think you were doing, he was signing autographs at Universal Studios. And my mom always tells this story because, not to talk about other people at Universal Studios signing autographs, but it was a lot of people who, didn't really care to engage with all these young kids. I must have been like, 10.
I'm terrified where the story's going, by the way. I'm sweating profusely.
But my mom always tells, she's like, I knew you were going to work with that guy because he had the biggest smile on his face. And he spoke, I remember, she says you spoke with me and my sister, and you talked to my mom, and she said he was the sweetest guy. So when you were in my house in the same place where I'd watched all Austin and Ally episodes as a kid. It was the most surreal moment for me. And yeah.
Those moments make such a big difference. I went to my first non-marketing fan convention and got to experience like the real connectivity between someone and the artist they admire, and people don't forget that stuff.
Well, I didn't either. I saw the 12-year-old and I said, that kid is going to get me to South by Southwest. I just had a feeling.
Never stop being that way, though.
I would just like to add the other two films we actually were doing, because they're so good and very unique, and they're not out yet, except for one, So Torn the Short, which actually was quite amazing because we redid the whole film one by one. Every single shot is exactly in the new So Torn feature. And the other one, which was a great present actually, that Freddy was giving to me, was I'm Good. It's a 50-minute monologue. I won't spoil it now. And it's a 25-minute film, but it was absolutely extraordinary to do that. It was really, really fun doing that.
Thomas had to do everything, like all the hard, well, I won't swear, all the hard stuff.
We're a couple minutes into the interview. It's safe to swear now.
He would, because he had to lie down on the road twice, because he did the short and the feature, and shot for shot. So yeah, it's crazy.
Upside down a great deal.
Exactly.
The singing Freddy's praises portion of our interview has not ended. So now for my 3 Freddy newcomers, can you tell me something about him as an actor's director and a leader on set that you appreciated and are excited for more actors to experience on his future films?
Yeah, he's just so calm. He's exactly the same as he is now. Doesn't matter what is going on around him. He just is never fazed. And he's just so super cool and confident and just really knows his stuff and just supports us and gives us the kind of space to be able to kind of play. And that really is a gift. And, I think for every actor going in, when it is a special relationship with the director, and quite often we're disappointed and feel a bit left on our own. And with Freddy, it's the opposite, and he is so young. And I think the only thing is that, we just, then he's so young, how could this happen? But, he's an old soul. And just a joy. And I really want to say something about the button at one point, but I'm going to pass it over.
Ooh, I'm going to come back to that then.
I was very happy to come to that movie through our Swiss connection. The Arizona guys called me up, and then they said, you're going to read this, you have to. And then we had an online interview, and that's it. So I was in. And I really, really appreciate that fact. And I must say, what she said, I can add that the precision of the work of Freddy with the actors is absolutely stunning. And the other thing is, we were always on time. That I never experienced that before on a set. It was really incredible. I must say.
They're all making me blush. I don't know. I can't have.
Get used to that. Get used to that.
I can add. Well, the nice thing is working with Freddy and also Sebastian, which is doing the great photography, and is all hand-hold, and that makes things so fast. So you're really on demand every time, and Freddy's always doing first shots. So there's one try you have, and you have to be on spot. But that makes it being really alert on it, and that's also a really, really fantastic and a great challenge.
Just to add one more thing.
I'll take it. I'm here for it.
Is that Freddy really embraces actors' specific ways of being on set. Every actor has their own method and their way of approaching a character, and what he does is, I like to think of him as a conductor, because everyone brings their own instrument, and we're all playing the same song, but he doesn't make people conform to one way. He really embraces what's special about that performer and really enhances that performance. And a lot of the takes can be very long sometimes in a longer scene. And we had this amazing experience in this one part where I'm supposed to be really going through some emotions, and he was tracking me, and he would just say one thing. He's like, "Forgiven." And it would just immediately go there, and it was a really incredible experience. I've never experienced like that with a director before. I hope more directors have his kind of style, but he really is phenomenal. And it's not just his age that I'm so impressed by his skill. He's on par with any director I've ever worked with as being one of the great ones.
What a beautiful answer. That's such an important quality to have. All right, Eve, you want to take us home with this one?
Oh, okay. Well, just what everyone has said is so true. And Freddie, I feel like, hates compliments, but he has to get used to it because it's so true. Like, he is also just the nicest person. You can probably tell already. He's just so nice and happy all the time. And that really just worked its way into the daily life of making the film and everyone around it. So the crew became like such a family. The cast, everyone was so happy to be there. And that really came from him. And any days, like, the weather, we had issues with the weather, and I was stressed about it, but you never seen, I mean, I'm sure you were having panic attacks inside, but you held it together on the outside. And also exactly what Caleb said, like, he was so open to whatever way you wanted to do something, and he was very sure when he got what he wanted. But if you felt, I want to try something else, he would give you that, but he would say, you know, we got it, but if you need that, and giving you the that kind of control and power over your character, it really just makes a difference, and it makes you feel so connected to the character and like you can play, which is exactly what you said.
A good quality to have, to be like a leader with a clear vision, but also collaborative with everyone around you. That balance, when you hit it right, that's so important. I don't want to forget about the button thing.
No, it was just that, you know, it was kind of an important inciting incident. And of course, I was kind of concerned about the whole button because, you know, it had to do with me. And I kind of assumed that maybe this was something they were going to do in post, and, you know, concerned that this might cost a lot of money, and, you know, how is it all going to go? And they just turned around to me and they said, oh, no, it's okay. We're going to do it in camera. I said, wow, that's incredible. Well, I do know that, you know, Fred is a model maker, and, you know, I'm sure you doing something incredible. I was thinking that, you know, perhaps there was going to be all sorts of interesting threads and stuff going on with the button as well. And they pulled up just a piece of cardboard, and one side, two pieces of cardboard glued together with sort of like a kind of sort of slide in the middle. And one side said, do not lose. And the other side said, this way up. I was like, this is what you're going to do. And literally they just kind of rolled the button down this piece of cardboard, and it went around and it went around. And I think actually the first time it actually went onto the grate and did spin. And it was like, oh my God, it really works.
But we weren't filming that time, so we had to do it.
Exactly.
We had to do 300 more takes. And what we would do, a lot of that stuff, like the button and the thread work, we would do a whole shoot day, keep the lights up, everyone would go relax, and my dad and I and Sebastian, our cinematographer producer, would stay there until, you know, sometimes, you know, way past, you know, close to midnight, rolling buttons or shooting darts and things. And so I'm glad you appreciated our little cardboard
I loved
rig.
it. And actually, I did get some of it on camera. Do you remember you asked me? I had it on my iPhone.
We have it in our behind the scenes.
I know the answer to this, but I want our viewers to know the fact that a lot of that was done practically, and you tested everything out to make sure it was authentic. Can you walk us through some of that?
Yeah, so even though, of course, the film is very heightened and bizarre, we really wanted to make sure all this thread work felt like it was somewhat grounded in reality. So my dad and I spent a lot of time trying to make these things work practically. So we just spent hours in our backyard with cardboard guns and thread and just tried making these things work. And once we finally did, we filmed them kind of shot for shot, each rig shot for shot, for the cast and for the crew to kind of understand how these things work and that they do actually work. But then, of course, once we were on set, my dad and I were still, and Eve were kind of the only ones kind of figuring, you know, who knew how to direct this action and make these contraptions work. So I think you were shooting that dart gun around your house.
Yeah, he sent me video. Sorry.
Yeah.
Before filming, he sent me, because I am not good at anything like that, so I was a little bit stressed about it, and he sent me videos of him and his dad, and sometimes your mom was in the videos as well, making all these little videos and showing me exactly what I was going to have to do. So it was just me then following along with these videos and showing my family as well when I'd get it to where I could do it acceptably. And which was just so helpful, because it's kind of scary going into it all, but again, he's just so specific, and even the videos were so clear and like done perfectly that it was so helpful. And He's just a genius.
You should release those videos as like a special feature eventually. I want to see them so bad. I have to wind down with you all soon, but I want to make sure, Eve, to highlight Barbara in particular. I'm trying to like find a way to get at so many elements of that character. I'll go this route. When you first sign on for the film, what quality of hers were you most looking forward to playing? But then can you also name a quality of hers you found along the way that wound up being more important to building the character than you ever could have imagined at the start?
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a great question. I think her intelligence was probably the thing that I was the most excited about, because I think it's to play a character that is kind of always the smartest person in the room, and her mind is always, you think, like you said, you think you would never find your way out of this situation, but she every single time finds a way, and her resourcefulness and everything, that really excited me right from the get-go, and the amount of things I was going to be able to do because of that resourcefulness. Like, I've never, so much of what we did on this film, I've never done anything like it before, so that was really exciting. And then I think once I had the part, Freddie talked to me a lot about the backstory and finding the emotional drive of Barbara, and talking a lot about her relationship with her mother. And I think that was something that I found after that I think really helped me connect to the character and helped me make sense of every scene, and even scenes that you might think, who would do that? It seems rational if you're doing it for your mother and things like that. So that I found really, really helpful, and actually was so important in being able to play her truthfully, I think.
Comes through big time.
Oh,
Great success in that respect. I have to let you all go, but I'm going to end with our super cut question of South by Southwest. It's something we're going to cut together in a nice video package. I don't like when I hear like a doom and gloom mentality in Hollywood, so I want to shine a spotlight on the good out there. Can you each tell me a recent movie you saw that gives you hope for the future of filmmaking? Ooh.
Dream scenario.
Not the first person who said that.
Really?
I like that. I like that.
Okay.
I'm glad that movie has a big audience.
I love it. I love everything about it.
I feel like that actually could answer our first question too, where
cool.
it's like the movie could go on different paths, and you could see how it would be different with a different person popping up in everyone's dreams.
Yep, absolutely. I love that film.
I need to see it. Oh, sure. I think probably my favorite recently would be Past Lives. I thought that was just incredible.
I love that movie too, but I already said my answer. It would be Barbie.
I'll take that.
I'm going for Anatomy for a Fall, just because of the performances, but it was just something extraordinary about that film.
Oh, I must say I have arrived very late and didn't have the chance to see movies over here, but one of the very best I've seen lately was Oppenheimer, and must be something behind it, because 7 Oscars is not bad.
Now, my 3 guesses were all told now. It was Past Lives I had first. Now I was thinking also of Barbie. It's actually 4. Then I loved The Anatomy of a Fall. But it's a French-German production. And I just recently saw Oppenheimer. And I think it's really such an important film and very well done, and an interesting way to sort of rolled up this historic dimension they were showing there. So I love that.
It's Barbie, but it's specifically Ryan Gosling. I'm so happy that he's bringing comedy to the awards circuit, because I think it's so important to really respect comedy, because I think we really need a lot of comedy in our cinemas, and the more respect it gets, the more they get funded. And I think getting funded with a proper budget is really important for comedies, and so I'm really glad that he's doing that. And Barbie did that in general, but just his performance last night was it really showed what a great comedic performance can bring. And so with Greta and Margot and that whole team, I'm just so glad that they were able to bring comedies back in that way.
Can I say one thing for American Fiction, which is the same way, another indie film, and what a clever script, what a wonderful way it was written. Every character was so well drawn. I just loved it.
I've been loving hearing all the Oscar answers to this question, because Oscars are such an important thing, and I feel like sometimes it's like, ooh, Oscars, but like it's so clear that this year's selections are just clearly getting at people's cores, and I think that's like an important thing.
Yeah.
I think your movie's going to have that effect on a lot of people. People are going to
so
love.
torn.
People are going to love this. I say this with such confidence too. I cannot wait for this movie to screen more and more, so I have even more people to talk with about it. Huge congratulations to all of you. I can't wait to cover everything coming your way from here, because this is only the beginning. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.